Hey guys, Joshua Montero here, giving my presentation for our discussion 3.2, projected analytics in an industry. So, me wanting to be in the video game industry, I chose that industry. Um, and in my readings, uh, high risk industry, projects fail, can get real expensive real quick. If you create small projects, the payout could be all right, but it's it's typically a really high risk deal if you're going for like a AAA type studio. Anyways, historical data matters. There's been lots of projects, companies that have kind of risen to the top or fallen flat on their face and disappeared. So, looking at those past successes and fails are a really good way to kind of help navigate your own success and avoid fails. Um, Researching past data also helps with trends and patterns, helps you kind of see those and helps you forecast what's going to be when your projects come to market, or when you're wanting to kind of start your projects. Gives you kind of a one foot in the pool type thing, where hopefully you'll have an understanding of what's going on, what your players and your demographic are wanting out of a video game. Um, and it really just helps you kind of make um, good choices that are more productive than uneducated ones. The studio that I selected was Respawn Entertainment. Infinity Ward, I guess, is the makes up the majority of their team. Uh, they're really famous for their Call of Duty titles. Anyways, they something happened and they were separated from the Call of Duty franchise, started their own franchise, and they are relatively new. Huge fan of the Titanfall franchise. I love the games. I think they're really well done. Um, and they just created a oops, sorry about that. Just created a battle royale free to play game called Apex Legends that I am really addicted to right now. Um, the franchise progression, I feel, can be helped a lot with um, predictive analytics. Uh, when you create a successful title, and if you want to expand on that title, then you need to understand what succeeded and what didn't succeed in that first launch or in that first project. In order to do so, you need to go back. You need to take your community feedback if that's part of the game that you made. Establishing communities is pretty big, so when they give feedback, take it wholeheartedly, um, and run with it, because they're the ones that will ultimately kind of supporting your work. Um, and when you take all of that data in and you apply it appropriately, um, hopefully the goal is to make your current project successful, along with it allowing you to start and maintain future projects. Um, One thing that Respawn had to do um, was really analyze what was going on in their market, because they were all, or they are primarily made up of all uh, industry leading talent. They're all from really reputable companies or a reputable company. So when they had to start their own studio, um, they just, how do you decide what is the right move to make? What's the right project? So free to play games are really big right now. Really big with app games. starting to become a little more common with console PC games. Battle royales are extremely popular right now. There's a few really popular battle royale games out, um, and Respawn had its Titanfall franchise. They had started Titanfall 3, um, and among finding out the success of a couple of these battle royale games, and them being free to play, they quickly took assets and material from Titanfall 2 and just applied them into essentially just a different game mode. And I mean, tweaked it a little bit, added some things, took away some things, but thus created Apex Legends, and is now an extremely successful title, and enough so that they are expanding their staff because of that game to help sustain and maintain it for the future. And really just analyzing what is your demographic like what, the people that you're marketing to. Go back, look at, you know, historically what have they been into, kind of what are their trends, how long of a lifeline do you have with the demographic that you're looking at. All of those different areas are keys to success when creating a video game. With historical data, that there are the success stories that we try to follow or try to keep in the forefront of our mind, but let's definitely not forget the big epic fails in the industry as well. I hope that all of us know of the 1982 ET Atari version. I read that it lost a total of $536 million. The the guys wanting to develop the game spent tons and tons and tons of money getting the right people, the right studio, ensuring that this project was going to be a huge success. And when it hit the shelves, it sold because it was a holiday release. But after the holidays were over, it didn't even sell half the copies that they mass produced that they expected to sell, and it flopped hardcore. Another one is that I just learned about is No Man's Sky. I know it was fairly anticipated, but the difference between it and ET is that it made $43 million in its sales, but lost 90% of its fans in the first 2 weeks because of how hyped up or how well they marketed the game and how not well they developed the game. It was just they were players were promised things that didn't happen, quality that didn't happen, and because of it they lost almost all of their fan base in the first 2 weeks. Basically what happens is when you take all of these all this data that we've been able to collect in the past from any market really or any industry, you take it and it really just helps us create well-informed decisions. Good decisions generate good outcomes. Smart low-risk decisions reduces time spent because you're reducing obstacles and hurdles that you have to go through or overcome, which creates good positive cultures, relaxed work environment. All these positives, if we just take a second, understand what we're doing, make sure that the steps that we're taking are the right ones, and move in that direction opposed to just jumping in head first into something. That's what I learned. I hope that you found it informative, interesting, and if you're being forced to listen, I appreciate that. But if not, thank you for listening, guys. Take care.